Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay, and today FFG have released an article for the Rebel Pathfinders, which is sort of the release article because they're coming out either this week or next. I think it's this week, and we're just going to go through the couple of new things that we've got in that. Now, before I do this, if you like the video, at the end of the video, do hit the like button, and if you're not already subscribed, then do consider doing that, as that really does help. And I think I'm very close to 3,000, so that does help. And while I'm just changing the scene, I'm very much aware of this giant bloody spot. You don't have to tell me. So this is the article. I'm not going to read through everything, but we'll have a look at the Pathfinders again just to refresh our memories. 68 points, danger sense 3, and that's basically you can choose not to remove your suppression, and then while you defend against ranged attacks, you roll 1 extra defense dice per the suppression, up to a maximum of the number. So in this case, it's 3. They got white defense dice, 2 courage, surge on a hit and a defense, which is interesting. Infiltrate, not been nerfed as far as we know. You can deploy on objectives, so that's very interesting. And Dauntless is, if you are suppressed, you can actually get, so when we say suppressed, it's not if you've got 1 suppression, you actually have to have 2. You have to be suppressed, so you would lose an action. You'll be able to take a free move action, which is for me very important when it comes to the weapon configuration that is range 2 with the red dice, and I'll get onto that more shortly. Range 1 to 3, they've got 2 white and black for the melee combat, right? I think everything we'd already seen. Now we've come to a very interesting card that I'm very happy to see. Overwatch. You gain Sentinel, so basically you get standby range 1 to 3. It's only 4 points. I can see that being useful on a really potent unit in close quarters, maybe hiding behind a building or something where you're not going to be able to get shot. Yeah, I think I would maybe occasionally throw that on a unit if I have the points and I've maybe built a list around it. So I'm happy to see that, because standby is a little bit weak, being range 1 to 2. That sort of fixes it a little bit. For my money, 4 points might be a bit on the high side. I would have liked to have seen that maybe 2, maybe even 3 points. 3 or 2, something like that. This is the 3D render of the models, of course, and you've got to say they're looking pretty damn fantastic. Yeah, very cool looking stuff there, and I'll be very eager to see them in the flesh. There's the one where they've actually got them painted up and stuff, but yeah, pretty much happy with all that. Now there's an Ion token there, and we'll get onto him in a moment. So the short range one, which I think we'd already seen this, unless I'm going crazy, it's range 1 to 2 red defense dice, and reconfigure, by the way. You can use your normal weapon, I think, or you can use this. At least I'm fairly sure that's the case. If I'm wrong, do correct me. I need to possibly reread the rules. But basically, if you're at range 3, you could have your 2 white dice, and then if you're at range 2, you could have red dice. Maybe 5 red dice would be pretty interesting to see. So, and you'd surge to a hit. It'd be pretty strong, pretty guaranteed. You're going to get quite a few hits, especially if you catch somebody out in the open, maybe with reconfigure. But a lot of people are talking about this. It's finally, I think Rebels have got like a maneuverable range 4, apart from the sniper and the turret, which isn't maneuverable. But the range 4 version of that is white dice, which is not great, but obviously you range 4. But you range 4 and you've got like 4 people in your unit. You can maybe pick off some snipers or something like that with that. So I could see you maybe deploying in that, and then if you've got a time and you've got a moment to reconfigure it into the short range one with you've got to recover to do it, I think, then yeah, maybe you could do that. And then it talks about Paul and Bistan, which we've slightly seen before. These are unique upgrades. You can't have 2 of these in your army. I don't think you can only have the 1, because, you know, it's a named dude basically. I think I may not be saying his name right. I'm calling him Paul, but I actually don't know. It could be Paul. I don't know how you say it. I do apologize. Whatever. Don't hate me, guys. Now this one's interesting because it's range 1 to 4 again, which I quite like. The red and the white, so it's best of both worlds basically. You get your range 2 red and your range 4 white. Pretty cool. So I like that. This one is probably my favorite. For 22 points, it's very nearly approaching like a standard leader. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. You get Inspire 1, so you can start dishing out helping your units near him, and he becomes the leader of your unit. Yeah, 22 points. I think he's reasonable. Not sure I would take him necessarily unless I was building around it, but I think that's all round worthwhile. And Bistan, I'm a little bit, I mean, I'm not happy with Bistan. Right, number one, I think FFG are putting a large cost on Ion, which I understand because vehicles are weak. So if you had Ion being overly prevalent, it would sort of ruin vehicles even more. So in one hand, I think it sort of makes sense. On another, it's a little bit disappointing because I'm not sure he'll necessarily see use. Yeah, I like the 5 dice. I like the range 1 to 4. I don't like the fact that it becomes exhausted. And I do like the impact and the Ionic. Range 4 impact is definitely something the Rebels don't have. Just impact on a guy who can move is also something that the Rebels don't have too much of. So, yeah, again, this is very similar to the Ion Trooper in the Rebels, Rebel Troopers, I think. I just don't think it's going to get that much use. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe with all the tanks and the vehicles and stuff like that, maybe they'll actually come back in fashion and you'll start seeing Bistan in the odd list. I think if you're going to theme your army and you want it to be a specific, like, cool, fluffy list, then maybe you'll throw him in. But for me, we're looking purely at, if we're going to do it, take an upgrade, we'll take Pow, whatever you want to call him. And you definitely, I think, in almost every situation, going to take the config. It's only 6 points. You'll probably deploy in that. But because of the, what's it called, Dauntless, pretty much guarantees you're going to get an action. Unless you're going to panic off the board, which is possibly unlikely. Well, panic, not just off the board. You're almost certainly going to be able to move and shoot. So I like, if you can move and shoot into range 2, you're all right there. Obviously, if you're going to stand further at the back, you want to aim, so the movement's not going to be that useful. But maybe you could move into range 3 and do your normal attack, which is 2 white dice. Which can be, if you've got 4 or 5 of you, 10 white dice can be pretty strong. So, yeah, all in all, I think the Rebel Pathfinders Infiltrate's going to be an interesting one. I think if I was running Rebels, I would take one of these and Jin, just for the possible breakingness of the key positions. Maybe that won't end up being as good as I think it is. It's weird because I think it's gonna be it's very situational. If you can avoid key positions against a Pathfinder unit or a Jin unit, then you're going to do that. And if you can't, as in it gets deployed at the last moment and your opponent is blue, then they're going to be able to move it almost certainly before you can panic them or, suppress them. So they're going to get a movement away, very likely, unless maybe you throw a suppressive unit on them. There's a few different counters to it, but I think it's something that I would gamble on. I would always maybe just take Jin or one unit of these and just see what happens. I say always, maybe not always, but quite consistently. Other than that, I like Overwatch, giving Sentinel. That's cool. 4 points, bit on the high side. Not sure that will see too much use. Because it's, to get the points out of it, you have to be taking standbys, and standbys themselves are quite situational to the terrain and the board and that kind of thing, unless there's some mind-blowing combination I'm not seeing there. Just quickly look through. Yeah, I definitely take the short range or the long range config, whatever you want to call it. That long range config, pretty good. That short range config, pretty good. So that I would always take. Everything else I would just flavor. You can maybe look at duck and cover because of the danger sense and dauntless and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, happy with them. There's nothing amazing here necessarily that we didn't already see. Yeah, well, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I think these guys are probably out this week. Let's just see if there's any note there. It just says first quarter, which is basically we're expecting it to be this week or next. So I'm going to pre-order mine because I don't think I have already. Hopefully there's not a delay in the UK. So as I said, comment in the comments below what you think about these guys. Like the video if you've not already liked, and subscribe if you've not already subscribed. Thanks to my Patreons. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to going my third head. My third head? I didn't mean that to sound rude. I should have said second head, but now it sounds rude. So I'm going to very quickly and subtly leave. Have a beautiful day and goodbye.